Okay, this is my audience. My speech is called Being a Kid. You can't break the rules without the chance of getting caught. I was spending the night in Waverly with my friend Audrey, just like I had done so many times before. We laid in her room talking about the ways of the world and why things are the way they are. Suddenly she looked at the clock and said, "I'm hungry." Looking at the clock myself, I saw that it was 12:15 a.m., and I realized that I seemed to have the midnight munchies also. We started contemplating our options, and came to the conclusion that we were both poor and the dollar menu at McDonald's was beckoning our name. But now the problem was transportation. McDonald's was only 3 blocks away, but we both felt a bit lazy, so I nominated to drive since I was the only one with a car. Only one small problem. I only had my intermediate license. It was now 12:20 a.m. as we headed out into the brisk morning air. Once we reached the car, Audrey, the dear friend that she is, pointed out that I drove a grandma car, a Lincoln, town car, burgundy, nonetheless. And even if she did meet a cop, they wouldn't pull us over because they just thought it was some lame old lady. Full of confidence that we wouldn't get pulled over, we pulled out of the driveway. "I'm gonna get like 5 burgers," Audrey said. "I'm starving to death." "Yeah, me too," I said. "Cop!" Audrey warned me as we passed the fuzz, but I was confident we would be fine. I wasn't doing a thing wrong, so why would he pull me over? "The lights are on, Angie. He's pulling you over," Audrey said, and she looked at me like she had seen a ghost. Sure, if I was being pulled off to the side of the road and trying to think of what to say once the cop got to my window. Do I tell him, "Oh, me and my friend were a little hungry, so we were going for a late night food run"? No, probably not. So I decided to use "I was at a friend's house and we lost track of time." Besides, we were at the block and it was still 12:27. As he got closer to the side of my car, I remembered that my window didn't work, so I had to open the door. Utterly embarrassing. Once I explained the window wouldn't work really fast so he wouldn't taser me or something, he proceeded to ask me if I knew while he was pulling me over. I told him that I honestly had no idea. He told me that I had a burnt out license plate. I decided right there and then that God had it out for me. A burnt out plate? Really? Who even cares? So he continued to look at my license and ask if I was aware that my intermediate license did not permit me to drive between the hours of 12:30 and 5:30 a.m. And I replied, "Yes, but it's currently 12:31, and I'm only a block away from home, and if you wouldn't have pulled me over, I could have already been there." Oops. Guess that was the wrong thing to say, but it was the God's honest truth. He told me he would be right back. "Yeah, you're screwed," Audrey said. "Yes, I know this. Thank you," I said back at her. We sat there and waited for the cop to get back. We talked about how we had both lost our appetite. I told her that she was a butthead for telling me she was hungry and making me realize that I was hungry too. If she had shut her mouth, or better yet, had food in her own home, we wouldn't be in this problem. Then she asked me if I was going to lose my license over this. My stomach hit the floor. I sat there in silence for the 5 minutes while the cop took his time coming back. I opened the door and looked up at the big, scary, donut-loving man that was about to ruin my life as I knew it. Okay, so here it is. As far as a license plate light, I'm going to just give you a fix-it warning. But for being past curfew, I'm going to have to give you a ticket. If you would just sign here for me, I'll let you ladies go on your way home. I looked up at him with terror in my eyes. My first ticket, I was going to have to call my parents in the morning and tell them what had happened. Except with them, I would have to be honest about the McDonald's thing, because if I was with another friend's house, they would go AWOL on me. I signed the line and looked up at the officer. "Am I going to lose my license over this?" I asked him. He looked back at me with a little grin on his face. "No, you won't lose your license, but you will have to pay the ticket within the given time that it will appear, or you'll have to go to court and fight it." As I closed my door, I thought my life couldn't get any worse. I looked down at the 2 tickets I held in my hand that totaled $93. I got pulled over, I wasn't even a bad driver, and I'm only 16. This was my worst nightmare. The next morning I tried to sleep in as late as I could, dreading the phone call I knew I was going to have to make. I knew it was a morning that I would never forget, as my parents always had been a little strict on my driving, but they were going to find out sometime. "Hello?" "Great," Mom answered. Why couldn't it have been Dad? "Hey, Mom, what are you doing?" I asked her, trying to get her in a good mood before I dropped my bombshell. "Just kind of sitting around the house." "What are you up to? When are you coming home?" she asked me. "Well, there's something I have to tell you. Last night, Audrey and I got hungry, and it was a little after midnight, and we decided we were going to go to McDonald's. Turns out it was not a good idea, because I guess I had a burnt out license plate light so I got pulled over. By the time he got done looking at my stuff, it was 12:37, so I got a curfew ticket. What were you thinking? Do you know you can't drive after 12:30? How much was the ticket? Are you going to lose your license? My ticket was $90, and I asked the cop if I would lose my license, and he said no. I know I'll pay the ticket off by myself, and I will. It's done. It's over with. I learned my lesson. I'm so sorry. Okay, I'll be home this afternoon, I told her, trying to sound mature and responsible. Wait until your father hears. Be home as soon as you can. Right now. You'll be paying for this by yourself with no help from me or your father. Great. I knew I was in for it when I got home, so I decided to leave Waverly right then and go home and get it over with. I said goodbye to Audrey, telling her my parents had lost it, and this would more than likely be the last time I would see her alive. But I loved her, and I was on my way. When I got home, my dad was surprisingly calm about the whole thing. He just asked me what had happened and why I had done it and if I learned my lesson. I explained everything to him and even got a little giggle when I got the kids will be kids speech. That was it. I was out of hot water and I had to pay my ticket. I could deal with that. A few months later, a letter came in the mail from the DOT telling me I have a meeting. My mom got upset and asked me why I was having a meeting and if I was going to lose my license. I told her that the cop said I wasn't going to lose my license and it was probably just a meeting so I would learn to drive better. The day of the meeting, we walked in and the lady sat us down in this little bitty room. Sure enough, she started going over the statistics and the privileges of driving and having a license, but then my life ended. She told me I was to lose my license for a month as punishment. What was I going to do without my license? I wouldn't be able to go to school without riding the bus. I wouldn't be able to get to work without finding a ride. And worst of all, my social life would end as I know it. As we walked out, my mom told me that I would have to find my own way around because she was not going to help me with this. I had to do it myself. The month of bumming rides off of other people and being stuck at home went by pretty fast, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Every kid makes mistakes and learns some of their lessons the hard way. You can't break the rules without a chance of getting caught, and you can't be a kid without breaking the rules.